Oscar De La Hoya put out a tweet after the Sean Porter versus Kell Brook fight. And he said in the tweet that he's apparently already spoken to Keith Thurman and that Keith Thurman is ready and willing to fly over to the UK and fight Kell Brook in his backyard. Obviously, Kell Brook mentioned Keith Thurman in the post-fight interview. Probably the first guy, the first welterweight I've heard actually kind of call Keith Thurman out. I ain't heard no other welterweights mentioning Keith Thurman. That guy, you know, Keith Thurman's name is on no one else's lips. Kell Brook's the first guy to actually talk about him. So I don't know if Keith Thurman is a mandatory for the IBF belt now or whether he's going to be the mandatory. I'm not sure. But I don't know how easy it will be for him to get that fight if Kell Brook's team really want that fight next for Kell Brook. I don't know, because they've got the Amir Khan fight there. They probably see the Khan fight as an easier fight than Keith Thurman and a much bigger fight. It's a massive domestic fight in the UK, and internationally it's still quite a big fight because people know Amir Khan in the States and around the world. People know this guy. He's been in a lot of big fights in the States, fought a lot of credible opponents. So people know Khan, and people now know Brook. Obviously, he's still not as well known internationally as Khan is, but people are going to know Brook for pulling off that win against Sean Porter in the States. So it's a big international fight. It's a massive domestic fight in the UK. That fight makes sense in terms of the finances, and it also makes sense in terms of putting another credible opponent on Kell Brook's resume. You know, because people know Khan. Now that'll boost his, if he can get a good win over Amir Khan, that can boost his market value as a fighter even more than it already is. So I can't see them fighting Thurman before they fight Khan unless Thurman is mandatory and they have to fight him before they fight Khan. So we'll see how it goes. If he does fight Keith Thurman, wow, I would love to see that fight. All these young welterweights getting in there and fighting each other, I think is great. I hope Golden Boy can make it happen at some stage. Keith Thurman is a tremendous puncher. This guy is not like Sean Porter. With Sean Porter, for some reason, people had this misperception that Sean Porter was some type of knockout artist. He's never been a knockout artist. I've said this in so many videos before. Sean Porter is a good fighter, but he's not a knockout artist. The guy only had 3 KOs in his past 10 fights before he fought Kell Brook. He's no knockout artist. But Keith Thurman is a knockout artist. This guy brings serious power with both hands and with body shots. His punches are a lot more compact and precise than Sean Porter's punches are. He don't smother his own work, Keith Thurman. When he's on top of you, he's planting his feet at the right position and he's getting off serious punches. Okay, so it's a totally different proposition than fighting Sean Porter. Sean Porter has his own advantages. He's probably physically stronger than Keith Thurman, more energetic, but Thurman is just much more serious in terms of his offensive arsenal. When them shots start winging, you don't want to be in the way of a Keith Thurman shot, trust me. So it's a different kind of fight. Kell Brook won't have to smother Keith Thurman so much on the inside. He won't have to worry so much about that. I think it will be a much cleaner fight than the Sean Porter fight was. So it won't be as rough for Kell Brook in terms of the, you know, physicality and wrestling and all that kind of stuff. He won't be as rough in that aspect, but it'll be far more dangerous in terms of the actual punches that are coming at him. But at the same time, you look at Kell Brook and you think, oh, he's probably got a better jab than Thurman, probably slightly taller, a bit more rangier than Keith Thurman. So it's a good fight. It's a very, very good fight. I definitely like to see it. But like I say, Thurman is a serious puncher. And this is actually the first time that anyone has called, or at least mentioned, Keith Thurman's name. I mean, I wouldn't say that Kell Brook necessarily called him out, but he mentioned his name as a potential opponent. No one else has done that in the welterweight division. So hopefully that fight can happen, but it's unlikely to happen before the Khan fight. If it did happen, who would you pick and why? How likely do you think it is that the fight will take place? And will it be before or after the Khan fight? Drop your comments below. This is Hatman. I'm out.